Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and today's video is going to be a special one. Today, a legend of Pokemon Go PvP returns, submitting some footage with his favorite Pokemon, Wartortle. These battles were submitted to the channel by a member of the community, Boygos, so many thanks for the battle submission. Now, Boygos and I, we are friends in real life. He was a groomsman in my wedding. He hasn't battled in 2 years, but since Wartortle got buffed and it's one of his favorites today, we get an exclusive look at the new Aqua Jet Wartortle, courtesy of Boygos. Hopping to the first match, picking up a pretty nice lead, leading Wartortle into a Diggersby. Opponent is going to safe switch into Drifblim. Wartortle rocking the sunglasses, staying in this matchup, going for the Ice Beam, but the opponent is going to respect it with a shield. Drifblim going to fire off some energy here. Wartortle with the no shield, and it is just going to be the Icy Wind. Now we will see a switch into the Shadow Alolan Marowak. Saving that Wartortle for the Diggersby will be quite nice, getting the shield call right on the Shadow Ball. Marowak opting for a bait, expecting the opponent to commit the shield. Opponent is gonna no shield, Drifblim is gonna switch out, and Diggersby hits the field. Diggersby, oh, I didn't even register that this Diggersby is on Mudshot, so as I mentioned, he hasn't played in 2 years, so we may see some interesting movesets from the opponents as he is in the first few ranks of the season. Opponent is going to fire off energy. Marowak very comfortable with an O-Shield here as Fire Punch, oh, it actually doesn't quite pick up the knockout, but one Mudshot after will. Wartortle re-hits the field. Wartortle going to look to pick up a knockout with an Aqua Jet. Diggersby going for the Scorching Sands. There's a switch. They try and snipe with the Drifblim, but Drifblim was in one Water Gun range, so they don't get the move. Wartortle, Aqua Jet is going to grab the shield. Wartortle, we see a switch out and a catch onto Dragonair. Neither Alolan Marowak nor Dragonair are particularly meta relevant, but again, he has not played in a few seasons, and in the back is Talonflame, and this game will be over. Getting to make it to the Aquatail. Aquatail, big damage onto the Talonflame. Opponent sees the writing on the wall and concedes the match. And one thing that I do want to note is he does switch up the team a little bit. So throughout the course of these battles, as you see, a very tough lead leading Wartortle into Whimsicott. But throughout the course of these battles, Wartortle will always be on the team, but the other two teammates will switch up quite a bit. Wartortle in a tough spot here because the Dragonair doesn't want to see this either. Gonna fire off the Ice Beam. We're gonna see a switch into the Dragonair, and unfortunately, we'll have to see if the opponent reacted in time. There's a pause. They did not. It's going to be a Grass Knot, so the opponent not able to react in time, but they're able to rebank energy and make a nice catch onto the Azumarill. Azumarill, of course, more than happy to absorb damage from the Dragonair. The opponent could have gone for the Ice Beam there, so they do actually decide to just take the free bubble instead. And now, after overfarming quite a bit, they are going to go for the Ice Beam. Oh, they actually go for a Poliwrath, so they might be on Poliwrath and Hydro Pump then. So typically, Azumarill will run Ice Beam, but in this instance, looks like the opponent may not have it. They can't bubble down here. Dragonair is resisting the bubbles. That's going to force their hand. They're forced to go for it to their Poliwrath, and this is a little bit uncomfortable. In comes the Marowak. Marowak going to try for a big farm down and getting the farm down. Opponent now going to send in their own Marowak, and we will see a Bone Club bait. The Bone Club bait is successful, making it to the Shadow Bone, but losing the CMP tie. Can the Shadow Marowak hang on here? Bone Club will not KO. Marowak able to survive. Shadow Bone, big damage. There's a switch into the Wartortle, but the opponent gets to send back in the Whimsicott. Whimsicott did rebank energy from earlier. Grass Knot KOs the Wartortle. In comes the Marowak. Marowak farms down. 1 HP remaining and a Bone Club. I did not see that game turning into a win, but against all odds, the 1 HP survive will secure it. Alright, we have a switch in the team. Now it's going to be a Tropius replacing the Dragonair. And Tropius is leading into a Shadow Ferrothorn. Shadow Ferrothorn does farm up to a Thunder. Even if it is the Thunder, it's still not going to two-shot. Tropius is very, very bulky. Tropius Aerial Ace is going to connect there. It is using the fast move Air Slash though. And now we're going to see Aerial Ace number 2. This will be putting the Ferrothorn quite low. Oh, it actually knocks out, and now the opponent is going to send in Blastoise. Blastoise, of course, with its new fast move of Rollout, so we could potentially see a Blastoise versus Wartortle battle coming up here very shortly. Can Tropius hang on? We are going to see a shield used. It is going to be the Hydro Cannon, and it's going to be a CMP tie to Hydro Cannon number 2. I honestly don't mind the shields here because I think the Hydro Cannon would have been able to knock out. And ideally, you want to try and peel shields away from this Blastoise, because then suddenly it's a lot less threatening to the Wartortle. These air slashes have added up quite a bit, so the Blastoise already at half HP, so there was some nice work put in there by the Tropius, and now Wartortle hits the field. Wartortle with its updated attack Aqua Jet, firing off the Aqua Jet at the Blastoise. Blastoise hangs on, but we're going to see a switch into the Alolan Marowak. Alolan Marowak catching the Skull Bash! No way! Oh, that is terrific stuff there. It's going to be a Machamp in the back. Shadowbone KOs Machamp. That was a dastardly Skull Bash catch. Oh my goodness. And that is game over. Wartortle versus Poliwrath. Oh, this is a terrible lead. It's a bubble Poliwrath. Again, these are his first few battles of the season, so we're going to be seeing some interesting movesets from opponents. It's Bubble and Power Up Punch. Man, definitely a bit sad that Tropius is in the back for this game, as Tropius would be absolutely feasting. There is the switch into the Tropius. If they have Icy Wind, though, this would be a boosted Icy Wind. Tropius is going to respect it, and it's Bubble, Power Up Punch, and Icy Wind. Opponent is now going to counter switch into an Ariados. Ariados is going to be firing off. Oh, it's a Shadow Sneak. Okay. Again, early days in the season, so we're seeing some wild movesets. I was thinking, okay, could be a Lunge, maybe a Cross Poison, but a Shadow Sneak, that was not on my radar at all. Yeah, Shadow Sneak, unfortunately, a pretty mediocre move, so it does not do anything good for Ariados whatsoever. Ariados is now going to switch out into Umbreon. Umbreon going to be met with an Aerial Ace. Aerial Ace is going to land, and now Wartortle hits the field. Wartortle used to only have nuke moves, so Aqua Jet represents the first inexpensive move that Wartortle ever got. Wartortle firing off this Aqua Jet. Let's see the damage onto the Umbreon. Umbreon able to tank that pretty well. Wartortle does have, it looks like, some pretty solid bulk here as well. Wartortle is going to be shielding up the Foul Play. Foul Play wouldn't quite knock out, but it would get the Wartortle pretty low. Another Foul Play comes through. Wartortle able to hang on. We are going to see switch back into the Ariados, and this Aqua Jet should just cleanly KO. Ariados is going to get KO'd. Back in comes the Umbreon. Umbreon trying for a farm down, but they can't get there. Wartortle would have got the Aqua Jet, and that's going to force the opponent's hand. They're forced to throw. In comes the Marowak. Marowak, oh, just cannot farm down. Umbreon on 1 HP makes the Foul Play, and that deals some pretty significant damage. Back in comes the Bubble Poliwrath, but the Bubble Poliwrath has no charge moves here that can hurt the Marowak. So Marowak just gets to fire off the Bone Club and take the win. Wartortle into Jellicent. Oh, this is not what you want to see as Wartortle. The safe switch into the Tropius. Jellicent is going to send in a Typhlosion after banking a Surf. Oh my goodness, Typhlosion. We are going to see actually a shield used, and the opponent just going for a Thunder Punch here. Boygos hasn't played in 2 years, and even he's like, that's not a Blast Burn. Come on, man. The second Incinerate, I think, would knock out here, so throwing on 2 isn't the worst timing ever. Oh, the Tropius actually survived on 1 HP. I was not expecting that whatsoever. And now in comes Marowak. Blast Burn is going to hurt here. This will do a ton of damage. The opponent is going to full send that Blast Burn, rocking the Marowak. Marowak is going to shield because it's going to be really tough to get rid of the Jellicent unless Marowak can land a move. In comes Jellicent. They're just going to take the free Hex. Shadowbone into the Jellicent. They no shield. Oh my goodness, why would they no shield unless they have a very good check to Wartortle in the back? In comes the Wartortle. Wartortle looking for the farm down, getting the farm down. What's in the back? It's going to be a Dunsparce, and I am shocked by that no shield. Had they just kept the Jellicent around, Jellicent would have done great. Dunsparce going to be firing off what should be a drill run here, and it is. Wartortle continuing the farm, unleashing Aqua Jet after Aqua Jet. Wartortle in its glorious return to the Great League, trying to clutch out this endgame. The pacing on Dunsparce is quite fast. It doesn't have the rollout damage that it used to. It's going to be a race here. Wartortle. Oh no! The CMP tie! Can Wartortle hang on? Drill Run KOs, and unfortunately that game will be a heartbreaking defeat. And it looks like that was a 3-2 set. Okay, Wartortle versus Grumpig, the battle of the buffed Pokemon. Wartortle is now going to be hit immediately with a Dynamic Punch from Grumpig. Grumpig Dynamic Punch is going to land. Wartortle shakes off that damage and is going to return fire with Aqua Jet. Aqua Jet is going to land. Grumpig will be able to outpace here if they want to, but instead they're going to farm up and make a catch onto Serperior. Serperior going to absorb the Aqua Jet just fine, but Serperior is not going to like that Alolan Marowak now hits the field. Alolan Marowak will still be taking solid damage from Frenzy Plant here. Opponent will go for the Frenzy Plant, and it looks like that will be able to two-shot. Oh, one final move reached by Serperior. Marowak looking to preserve HP, so it will commit the shield. So the opponent, they did bank a bunch of energy on the Grumpig when they caught. They are going to bring in the Grumpig. Grumpig, I believe, does have enough for the Shadow Ball here. Oh, no, they don't. It's just a Dynamic Punch. And now they're going to switch into a Skeledirge. And Skeledirge is immediately met with the Bone Club. I'll be honest, I had forgot how much residual energy was on that Grumpig. I thought they had enough for the Shadow Ball, but I guess I was mistaken. Shadow Ball lands. The Snipe with the Wartortle. Wartortle making it to the Aqua Jet. My goodness, these early ranked games, there's so much going on so quickly, but Wartortle is going to secure the win in this one. Okay, we move to the next match. Wartortle against an Obstagoon, a blast from the past. Obstagoon. Wait, is this a Lick Obstagoon? It's a Lick Obstagoon. Oh my goodness. That is wild. They are going to go for a Cross Chop, and Wartortle is going to look to return fire with Aqua Jet. Aqua Jet is going to land, and that Lick animation is hilarious. In comes Tropius as the safe swap. Tropius is now going to be hit with the Cross Chop. Looks to be a single moved Mon. In comes a Skeledirge, and what is that fast move on Skeledirge? I'll be honest, I don't even know what other fast move it has that isn't... Is that Bite Skeledirge? It is. It's Bite Skeledirge. Oh my goodness. Okay. These early ranks really have it all. My goodness. Trainer Incinerate will work a lot better for you. We're now going to see the switch back into the Wartortle. The poor Bite Skeledirge struggling to get to any moves. Aqua Jet picks up the knockout. And the opponent is just going to resign the match and probably going to go TM their Skeledirge after that one. Nightmare lead in the next match. Wartortle into Abomasnow, the safe switch into Tropius. And honestly, this is the better option than staying in with the Wartortle, because Wartortle would just get severely outpaced and not really do any damage. Whereas Tropius is never winning this matchup, but in the twos, the Air Slashes will get it low enough that you can get rid of it with the Marowak, and then hopefully you will see Wartortle putting in some work in the end game. So Weather Ball number 2 is going to be shielded. Tropius is going to be firing off one final Aerial Ace. The opponent still has one shield, and they're going to use it here. The Air Slashes are adding up, so they are going to preserve a little bit of HP and just knock out the Tropius here. So Tropius is going to get KO'd. Now in comes the Marowak. The Fire Spins go through, and down goes Abomasnow. So Abomasnow is out of the way. The opponent is going to bring in Skeledirge. Skeledirge really not going to like a Shadowbone. Shadowbone, big damage in the back. Oh no, it's a Lantern! Oh my goodness, the switch into the Wartortle saying, surely there is no more counters to Wartortle, but here it is. It's a Spark Lantern, and I think this Lantern can probably just take home the win for the opponent. Thunderbolt KOs the Wartortle. In comes the Marowak, and Marowak is going to need 2 charge attacks because there's no way a Bone Club is KOing the Lantern. Surf does huge damage, making it to the Bone Club. This needs to be enough damage. Bone Club gets it low, but not low enough. 1 HP survived from the opponent, and that's a good game. Hopping into the final match, we're back on the original team, Wartortle into Dusknoir. This Dusknoir is on Astonish. Wartortle is going to be immediately met with a Shadow Punch. An early shield from the Wartortle. Opponent is now going to be immediately answered with the Aqua Jet. Aqua Jet from the Wartortle is going to be shielded up by Dusknoir. Dusknoir with the pacing advantage. Shadow Punch I don't think will knock out here, but it will get the Wartortle pretty low. Wartortle is going to no shield. Wartortle making it to 1 final charge attack before it gets Astonished down. Aqua Jet into the Dusknoir is going to pick up the KO. And that's a clean one-shield win. Out comes a Volt Switch Magneton. In comes, oh my goodness, they try and get to a move and they're just able to get there. The Marowak's just going to shield once and farm them down. That's a Zap Cannon. And that is a Dragon Tail Shadow Palkia in the back. That is not what I was expecting to see. Bone Club is going to be shielded. In comes the Dragonair. Palkia, it's just getting farmed down by the Dragonair, and that will be game over. All in all, Boygos is someone who I very much value as a friend. So the moment I saw Wartortle got buffed, finally, because he's been asking for a Wartortle bait move for like 4 years, I was like, it's time. I texted him, I was like, yo, Wartortle, it's finally happening. I believe at one point he wanted Aqua Tail, but hey, we will take a reworked Aqua Jet. And he asked, hey, can I be the one to send in footage? And I said, absolutely. Wartortle would realistically, when it comes to its meta viability, love a new fast move as well. Aqua Jet is a really good start for Wartortle. It finally gets a move that is very cheap, and Wartortle does have some very, very good bulk to it as well. The next step would be obviously Blastoise got Rollout, and having that kind of fast move that gives you extra coverage is really nice, because you already have the Water Ice coverage, which is pretty nice with your charge attacks with Aqua Jet and Ice Beam, but having something like a Rollout as a fast move. Granted, I don't know exactly what moves it can learn in the main series, whether it can learn Rollout or not, but getting some kind of fast move that offered a little bit of coverage would kind of be the final step that Wartortle needs to break out and to see some meta play. But overall, this is a nice step for Wartortle, and it's a Pokemon that definitely has potential in the future, just due to the fact that it has really good stats, and now has some pretty solid charge moves as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're enjoying the content, please do leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And a special thank you as always to our channel members here on YouTube. The support you guys provide is genuinely so appreciated. So thank you guys oh so very much. And until next time, I've been HomeSliceHenry.